Hi, I'm Paranoid Rat, your Rat King returned with more art for you. Brace yourselves, prepare yourselves, whatever. Hi. So this is something I've wanted to talk about for a little while now. I was also lazy and didn't want to draw anything new for YouTube this week, so you're just going to get a look at my old speed paints that I never posted on here yet, so that's fun. So just feel free to settle down, grab your sketchbook, or whatever you like, because I'm going to be talking about the sexualization of female characters in art and media. And I should say, everyone is allowed their own opinions on this, or any topic. These are just mine, and some thoughts you can take or leave. This is something I have a lot of feelings around and wanted to talk about them. I have a video dedicated to this because I've touched on it here and there in videos, but I wanted to just focus on this week. So with that, let's get into it, I guess. So if you follow me, you know I like redesigning characters, or like X-Men characters especially. I love X-Men, I like character design, so of course they go together. And I do make a lot of changes and try to create more realistic and functional designs, which are received with varying responses, but they're mostly for me, and I just share them with you guys. But they also sparked a lot of comments around like the sexualization of the characters, especially the female ones, and what's okay and what's not, and just kind of like a lot of messy ideas and thoughts around this topic. So this is something that's been debated a lot, especially around superhero and video game characters. Is it okay to draw sexy characters? What's respectful? What's not? Is it suddenly okay if it's a man instead? Etc, etc. I'm going to start off here with more of like the negatives for this kind of thing, but I will follow that up with my additional thoughts where I actually think it's okay and I do like it. So just don't like yell at me before you get to the end of the video, please. I mean, that's generally a rule of thumb, but whatever. Anyways. There's a whole phenomenon of like female characters in media being designed in far more sexual outfits than any other gender of character, typically with an unrealistic model-like body, clothes that barely cover anything, or just full-on skin-tight clothes, so they're basically just a bodysuit, high heels, boob windows, etc., making the characters very sexy and appealing. And I can enjoy appealing designs as much as the next guy, but there are points when it goes too far and it can be problematic. Designs like these usually disregard the character and personality of said character. A lot of these characters are in situations with lots of combat and need for easy movement and armor, but in clothes that severely hinder that. They are typically designed by men for men, and they often reduce characters down to purely how hot they are. And you can very clearly see the difference from male designs to female designs, and the respect that they're given. All of these problems extend far beyond art and character design to bigger systemic oppression and objectification, which is a lot to talk about in one video, and I will not even touch on everything out there. These are just more of like focused around character design and just pretty simple thoughts. And some people will argue since these aren't real people, there's nothing wrong with unrealistic designs like these. And if that's how you see it, go ahead. But I beg to differ. Art reflects reality and reality reflects art. So I do believe that choices we make in art and design do have an impact on real life. Even if it's not explicitly said that some female character's role in that media is reduced down to her body and visual appeal, viewers do pick up on that. It feeds into those unrealistic expectations for women and how worth is decided by aesthetic appeal, not the person. And I'm not saying all sexy characters will have this impact. I will touch on this more later, so fear not. I am just saying I think a little bit more care should be taken here. For me, when I do designs or redesigns, I like to think about realism. Again, on that art reflects reality and reality reflects art, I want my art to represent the reality I want and choose to pick the pieces of reality I want better represented and seen in my art. I personally love relatable and human characters, so I give my characters, even my superheroes, more realistic bodies and outfits that make sense for their job and what they're doing. Because in most of these worlds, these superheroes are just real people who happen to have powers. Having superpowers don't automatically make you the perfect societal ideal of what the perfect person looks like, unless it has something to do with that character's backstory and powers, and if that's so, go right ahead. But this is just my general thought process. When I see designs, I like to think about how I can make them more functional. And this goes for both men and women, and everything in between. So when designing superhero characters, I like to prioritize armor or clothes that are easy to move in, less exposed skin, because you don't want these guys looking like they just got run over with a cheese grater. I got pockets and pouches for gear, and so on and so forth. I get really excited when I see designs that hit realistic benchmarks, but are also whimsical and cool and creative. This is all personal preference too, so some people will prefer to draw less realistic outfits for their characters, and that's okay, and some people will prefer to draw more realistic ones, and that's also okay. This is just what I like to draw and how my brain works and my personal taste in design looks. So when it comes to like my X-Men redesigns, all I think is like, how do I think about what this character is actually doing and then try to draw clothes that would realistically function for this person, if that makes sense. Even if like it's a makeup character, like nothing, whatever I draw them in does not matter, but in my head, I like it to matter. And this is by no means saying sexy designs are bad. I actually really like a lot of designs like that. And again, it's all personal preference, but I actually don't think there's anything wrong with sexy designs. I myself like drawing sexy characters, and oftentimes in things like bunny suits or something. And there's a lot of times where it makes sense for that character as something they'd wear based on their story or personality, and so on and so forth. Or if in your style or the aesthetic that you're trying to go for, it's a bit more vintage and you're leaning into those stereotypes for that style, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. A design will tell you a lot about a character, so the choices that you make for their designs will influence how people view that character, and you can use this to your advantage. And it's up to you to decide what feels good and comfortable for you in your art. I just only have a problem when this has become a default and it's normalized to objectify women, and like just think about why they are being designed like this. And I'm frustrated that when I see a design that isn't overly sexualized, is something I feel like I need to celebrate, and like it's a really cool thing to find, because I feel like that should be something that's normal, but it's not, and that's concerning. And there are ways to draw and design characters in ways that it's obvious they are hot and sexy without drawing a Victoria's Secret mannequin. Again, it's all personal preference. That's the theme of this video, I guess. But when I see designs like Emma Frost's from X-Men, I don't see anything appealing about that. All I can think about how kind of creepy it is, and want to give her a blanket because she looks like she's probably freezing or something. And she's a beautiful woman, and I've seen so many redesigns of her that make her look very sexy and very attractive without needing to basically have every inch of skin exposed beyond like lingerie. And again, my brain is very practical, so I see her old design and all I can think about is how difficult it must be to do what Emma Frost is doing in clothes like that. I mean, maybe like here and there she can dress like that, but for like all the time, it feels out of place and it feels weird, and it's all you can think about is how and why it was designed that way, and that annoys me. And male gaze this, female gaze that. At the end of the day, it's all about our personal preference. I just think care should be taken when designing characters and why those design choices are being made. When it's designed for a character who would dress like that, and it makes sense for them and done with respect in a way that they still have a personality and aren't just their body, I love it and I'm all for it. If you've been here for a while or know me, you know I'm all about diversity and representation and breaking down defaults and societal norms in my real life and in my art. And really, when I look at these overly sexualized designs, I actually often don't find them all that attractive. To me, what makes a person or design appealing is when that thing is being unapologetically its truest self. And yeah, that extends to art. I like designs that are weird and different and characters that aren't the status quo. I find that really appealing to me. So that's what I like to draw and what I like to see. But my opinions are my own, and everybody has the freedom to form their own ideas on these things and what they feel comfortable with and like drawing. I just wanted to talk about this more this week because it's been something I'm passionate about and I get frustrated with, and I feel like people misunderstand what I'm saying when it comes to like these designs and stuff. Doing silly little redesigns of X-Men is something I just did for fun, but it's been really interesting seeing how they're received and seeing other people's opinions, which makes me reconsider my own and make me really think about what I believe in and what I'm trying to do here. Anyways, that's it for this week. I hope you all enjoyed my rant. If you have any thoughts and opinions, I'd love to hear them below in the comments, although I do ask that you keep your thoughts respectful to other people and as a way to promote better discussion and ideas and not just shaming people for their opinions. Or I will probably just delete your comments if they aren't very respectfully written. Thank you for sticking to the end. I'll be back next week with more art. Any support for me here or on my other socials helps me loads, and you can join my army of ratlings. I hope you all have a good week, and you are dismissed now. Ciao!